Welcome to Pie Guys Pick'em. This is the most exciting divisions in football. Here we go. The AFC and NFC South. Oh boy, we're going to be in for a treat today. Probably the worst two divisions in football, not only this year, but the last few years. But we have our special guest, local Buccaneers fan and CFL stats man, Jason, to help us on this as we go through the AFC and NFC South teams. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Lovely Friday here in Toronto. Can't complain. I heard you crack one. You cracked one? I cracked one.
Yeah, I cracked one. It's not. I'm not going to say which beer it is because somebody left it at my house, and I would never buy this beer. But I will drink free beer anytime. So we are drinking. It is Friday evening here. We're going to talk some. We'll start with the AFC South here, and one of the teams. Let's start with the favorite here, the Houston Texans. We'll talk about before we get into the schedule. We'll just discuss them quickly. The Houston Texans won. They won the division last year. They had a pretty tough schedule. The big, obviously, offseason news was they traded away Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle. I believe he's left tackle.
Yeah.
The former Dolphin, who of course they famously traded an arm and a leg for, that ended up being like Jalen Waddle and somebody else. So I ended up getting, Joe Mixon and Tank Dell banged up a little bit in the preseason, but I'm not too worried about Dell. But Dell got hurt last year at the end of the year. Yeah. So who knows when he's going to come back. And Joe Mixon, he's getting up there in age. It's going to be interesting. I was talking last week on the fantasy show. Nick Chubb is their wide receiver 2. So, or not wide receiver 2, running back 2. So, could he have like a reemergence here with the Texans? Obviously, they have Damian Pierce, who I think is a bum.
Yep.
And then Ogunbowale, who can kick field goals if the kicker gets hurt. So it's good to have him on the roster. Plus, he's a good running, he's a good your third running back. He's fine. He's a good change of pace guy. He's a vet. He's probably good in the locker room. Cam Robinson comes in at left tackle.
He does
here. Yeah, former Jag who got traded to Minnesota in the after Darisaw got hurt last year. So he's coming in here left tackle. The offensive line, Titus Howard, Jake Andrews. Yeah, I'm not going to try to say the right tackle's name, but Blake
which one? Oh,
yeah. Ursary, we'll call him that.
The rookie, yeah.
He's a rookie right tackle. We'll see how that goes. The offensive line is a concern here. Obviously, the wide receivers with Dell probably being out for a bit. It's going to be Collins. They signed Christian Kirk. And then Jaden Higgins is, I think that's a rookie. I've never heard of him before. So, yeah.
They still have Dalton Schultz on the team?
Second round pick. Yeah, Dalton Schultz, tight end. And they got rid of one of their depth tight end guys. I forget where he went, but they're like 2 tight ends is gone. So Dalton Schultz is, Cade Stover. And R. Smith is on this squad, and so is Harrison Bryant. So, that's interesting. What do you think about the Texans offense here?
Yeah. So obviously last season we saw a regression on that O-line. I think if you think of CJ Stroud's initial year, he was only sacked, I think, less than 40 times in the season. It was like 38, I think I was looking at. And last season that went up to about 50-ish and 50 and change. So the O-line was a concern last year. We've seen a major O-line shakeup in the offseason. Obviously, you spoke about the trade with Tunsil. They cut Shaq Mason. They cut Kenyon Green, replaced him with the guys you mentioned. They do have a new offense coordinator in Nick Caley. He takes over Bobby from last year. So maybe there's a bit more of a balance protection piece.
Bob, we'll talk about Bob Slow. We talked about this in the recap show. Him getting fired. Yes, he wasn't good at the end of the season. Okay, I understand that, but I don't know. It feels like or Bobby Sloak. It feels like not to be confused with the Stamps defensive coordinator Bob Sloak, his father, but Bobby Sloak.
Yeah.
The I don't know. I mean, was he just the scapegoat? Like it felt like his offense
a bit of both.
kind of worked. And now you're gonna bring in a new guy. Okay, maybe it's like that's not good enough for you. That's good thinking. But at the same time, we're in the AFC South, and
Well, that's the thing, right?
Sloak
You have the
enough.
AFC South here. They did win 10 in the last 2 seasons. The O line turnover, I think, makes that repeat for me at least a little riskier. But we'll get into that when we look at the schedule, because I do think there's a couple of interesting matchups there. But I mean, their defense is still anchored by Will Anderson and Derek Stingley, so it's mid pack kind of team defensively, and then their weapons are pretty solid for Stroud. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz. Sure, Mixon's a little bit up there in age. Yes, we're not a fan of Damian Pierce, but for a guy who can sort of play that role or back up and support Mixon with some of the carries, I think it's fine. Especially here in the South, I think it's fine.
So, yeah, the defense is clearly the strength of this team. You look at this D line: Will Anderson Jr., Canadian Mario Edwards Jr., I believe, Sheldon Rankins, Daniil Hunter. All very good front four there. Then you have Aziz Al-Shaair, very, very good middle linebacker. The Henry Toto. Even EJ Speed, who's like depth isn't awful.
You can go down a guy or two here, and you'll still be okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of depth. Like Derek Barnett is going to be rotating in. Tommy Togai is going to be rotating. Like, they got lots of big boys. Even Denico Autry, vet, but even he maybe comes in for a couple of snaps here. Obviously, Stingley is probably your most important player on. I don't know. Will Anderson is very, very good, but Stingley.
Stingley's important.
Yeah, when you have a solid cornerback and basically take away wide receiver one of the other team.
That's what you
saw how that worked out well for the Broncos. It's always been it makes life easier for the defense. You don't have to put 2-3 guys on. Your wide receiver one, and then so the secondary is CJ Gardner Johnson will be joining the secondary. Lassiter is very, very good too. He got banged up last year. Hopefully he can stay healthy. It's just the defense is very good. The pass rush is excellent. You got to shut down corner. The weakness of this team is clearly, in my opinion, the offensive line. It's not very. I mean, I don't know what's happening in the drills, but I assume they're getting cooked. You bring in Tommy Townsend to obviously Fairbairn's very, very good kicker. Braxton Berrios, good punt returner, finally out of the AFC East. He's a good kick returner. So special teams there. So pretty good special teams. Townsend's a vet. The special teams, the offense should be fine. The defense should be very, very good. The special teams should be fine. And you have a quarterback. You have receivers. You have I don't know if you have a running back, but you might have a running back.
You have the team. You have the unit. You just need to give Stroud and his team and his weapons an extra 2 seconds. That's really what
and Tunsil did take a lot of holding penalties, I thought, last year. So it's not the worst to move on. Miami moved on. This is the second team to move on from. You know what I mean? So maybe there's something. I don't know if he's bad in the locker room, whatever. Yeah. But it's a little bit suspect. I will see how the offensive line is good. This team is very, very borderline contender here. They're obviously the favorite from the division, plus 108. 9.5 win total. But take a look at their schedule here.
9.5, you said?
9.5. I think it's. I don't know where the juice is. I think it's close to even. 9.5. Here's the Texans schedule here. I don't like the week 1 matchup. That's a rough one because the Rams, the young defenders should be able to get pressure, and the Rams' offensive line might be able to neutralize some of your strength there. Tampa. That's probably a closer one. Obviously, you have your divisional foes. You own the Jaguars, who are the co-second favorite in this division. The Colts and Titans kind of give you trouble, but you own the Jaguars. So I can't remember. I think I remember. I think they stole a game 1 or 2 years ago. But other than that, it's been Texans dominance against Jacksonville. Even in the season they were good, they lost both games to them.
Yeah, they've just been really good in Jacksonville.
The
last 2
against
years,
them,
Stroud has been really good
in general. They've just been really, really good. But like, look, the first 8 games are tough. Outside of your divisional games, like you know, there's no freebie there. Like maybe Tennessee at home.
Are you a fan of the early bye for this team?
No, well, so in this case, because you have a newish offensive line, you know, and you're gonna play some tough pass rushes. You're like even like the Titans have Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Jags have Josh Hines-Allen. The Bucs can get pressure with blitz, and then like they blitz a lot. And obviously, Baltimore's very, very good. So you know, so you I don't mind making adjustments to the offensive line, but then you're gonna go, you know, your bye's neutralized because it's a Monday night game at 10 o'clock.
West Coast, yeah.
But not only is Monday night game, it's a 10 o'clock Monday night game. Okay, I know Houston's this is Mountain Time.
Okay, or, it's 10 Eastern, right? So it's 7 there.
Yeah, 10 Eastern. So yeah, it's 7 Seattle, but you still.
I mean, 1 hour. 1 hour.
Yeah.
So it's not Murder's Road, but still, yeah.
But I feel like your bye is almost completely neutralized by the fact that you have the most amount of rest going into that week.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe over rest.
And you got to go on the road and play Seattle, who guess what? Who has a good defense? We talked about the Seahawks. We had a commenter.
That might be an under game.
High on the Seahawks defense. Yeah.
Mark it down. That's the under.
The 6-3 Seattle primetime game where it's 10 o'clock local time for us. So I mean it put us right to sleep.
Perfect remedy.
But like there's no like San Francisco, Denver, like it's brutal. Now then you get a little bit of you get to play some divisional games, and then Buffalo, Kansas City in there. Yeah. And the last 4 are all winnable.
I like the second half. The Buffalo on a TNF. It's not bad. It's you get to host Buffalo at home.
Yeah, late season.
Late season. Kansas City Chiefs off the Thanksgiving game. Yes, it's a home game for them, but they're going to also be a little slow or still coming off that whole length of time. So there's games where you can kind of
10 days off before they play the Texans. So
yeah,
that might be a.
But they're gonna have their Thanksgiving in between that team.
Well, yeah, but they play on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but I'm talking about their family gathering will be after that.
Yeah, so it'll be after the game, probably. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the argument there, but it's extra days for Andy Reid.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
It's horrible spot. Like I think that Houston got the short end of the stick when it comes to the schedule here. Like it's just
in the AFC South. Yes, I think they probably have the toughest schedule. It is a little tough to expect stability from this team with that rebuilt line. So they've never had, to my knowledge, 3 straight 10-win seasons.
So I made a mistake here. I have 2 versus Tennessee. So let me just see which one is in Tennessee. Okay, so the second one is in Tennessee. That's the problem. The Titans are coming off their bye. That game we can still say at Tennessee. Yeah, that was a typo there. That's not even a free win. Like that's going to be the rookie who is is impressive in his press conferences anyways.
Oh, Cam.
And so like I think it's a tough schedule. I don't know if I want to bet the under here because like it could just be 6 divisional wins and you find 4 more. But who knows how good Seattle is? Who knows how injured San Francisco?
I think they get to 9. Who knows how
Stafford's going to play week 1? Like
I think they get to 9. If the question is, do they get to 10 and you're pushing?
Yeah. Well, this schedule, in my opinion, this is a non-zero chance. This is a disaster. And I think if you like the Texans under, you play the Alts.
Oh, you saying this might be like an 8-10 season? Because it can very well be an 8-10.
Start out 1-7. Like
they might start 1-7. They might start 2.
Yeah, like you got to go to Jacksonville. We don't know how good Jacksonville's going to be, right? I don't know. Like you probably win that, but it's a divisional road game.
If they don't have a W by week 4, that's an issue. I think for them.
Why they probably beat Tennessee at home, but
Well, I'm saying going into that game, if they're 0-3, I think there'll be a little bit of nerves there that the Titans can, capitalize maybe on.
Yeah. Again, the Texans got a little shafted now, but if they can hang on, weather the storm, they can win the last 4 games and be fine.
The last 4 might be gimmies.
Yeah,
at that late in the season.
Your one road game and your last 4 is at the Chargers. It's not even a road game.
Yeah.
So you're basically at home for
especially those last 4. They're going to be playing for positioning in the playoffs as well.
Well, or they're playing for the division.
Or division.
So I kind of think they might be, because we'll talk about this next team that I'm quite. I know you're going to try to talk me off of this, but I'm quite high on these Jacksonville Jaguars. And it all started at the draft. I did not expect them to trade up for Travis Hunter. Okay, I don't know if this. Now he was clearly going into the draft the best player in the draft. Will he pan out that way? I don't know, but Cam Ward. You could argue he's a quarterback. His value is a little bit higher. So
it's the versatility that he offers.
Yeah, non-quarterback player like. This guy, and even if he's a bad wide receiver, he can go play corner. But from what I've been hearing, like this guy's nuts.
He's pretty.
He was coached by Deion Sanders. It's pretty good. You know what I mean? Travis Hunter, we're talking about, obviously. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be on the other side of him. So who do you double? I mean, you got the unicorn on one side, Brian Thomas. Now I know Brian Thomas Jr. is having a rough camp, but I'm not too worried about that. Yeah. You have your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. I know, that people are really, really down on Trevor Lawrence, and I think it's a little bit unfair. This team has had turnover. They've had, coaching, disasters. Their ownership we're not too thrilled with. They're a little bit distracted. They're a little bit distracted. Johnny says, "Don't compare apples to oranges here." I just like what they did. I looked at their roster, and the ones at least are pretty impressive. Like all the offensive linemen grade out decent, right? I look at the gradings of the offensive line, pretty good. The sneakiest signing of the offseason, in my opinion, De'Ami Brown. This guy couldn't be stopped at the end of the season. And he's going to be your 3. That's where he kind of was in Washington, right? He's not asked to be a 1. You have bona fide 1 and 2. He's going to be your 3. This guy couldn't be stopped at the end of the season. Couldn't be stopped in the playoffs. He was cashing we were betting him every week. The yards over. He's getting opening and catching balls. That's what you want from your wide receiver 3. After that, they pick up Trent Irwin from the Bengals. They had so many receivers. How good was this guy? He was pretty good. Austin Trammell, he's a little bit of a project. Parker Washington's okay. Like, it's a good receiving core. Brent, the tight end group, Brenton Strange is okay. It's not the best tight end group in terms of pass catching, but I'm sure he can block fine. You have 2 running backs. I like to see that. Obviously, you have Josh Hines-Allen on defense, Trayvon Walker. Like the front, Devin Lloyd, the front 7's pretty good. It's the secondary.
The secondary's bad.
Yeah, Jerry and Jones, Tyson, like Travis Hunter's listed on the secondary as like a potential.
Yeah. They were 28th in defense last year in efficiency. Like that's the glaring weakness here. I'll tell you. You talk about a lot of the players being, helpful and may change the tempo, but I think it's the staff. The new staff that they brought on, Liam Cohen, obviously the ex-Bucks OC, he helped revive Baker Mayfield. What is he going to do with Trevor Lawrence? Now the big question here is Trevor Lawrence going to still be off and on hurt, or is he fully healthy? He was pretty good when he was fully healthy. He still needs to show if he's top tier. I think he is. I think he can be anyway. But if this new staff can emphasize quicker reads and tempo and utilize a lot of the speed that the Jags have, then I'm all board with you. I think this team can score a lot of points. They'll probably let in a lot of points, but I think they could keep up and have a lot of over games and a lot of games lost by a kick or maybe won by a kick or a touchdown. So, that to me is where I see a lot of the stuff. They got rid of a lot of the dead weight too that was on their team. Kirk Davis gone.
Yeah, Andre Cisco's gone, and he kind of was like a flashy. Like I noticed him, like he was like the kind of the guy who got the picks.
Yeah.
And somebody picked him up. I don't like. I've heard like people don't really like him, but you're gonna need your young cornerback Darian Jones to step up a little bit. He was pretty good against it, but see, the thing with this team is that you're playing in the division where you have CJ Stroud, but his offensive line is a little sus, and then you have Daniel Jones. We'll talk about him, and you have a rookie. But your team's pretty good at stopping the run. Well, if you look, the front seven is clearly there. It's clearly their strength. I think this team can stop the run. You might be able to beat them over the top, like Patrick Mahomes. We saw what Josh Allen did. That when I had the Bills as my best bet, I'm like, they're going to kill these guys, and they did. But when you're not facing like an elite quarterback, which you won't be in your division, I think this team can outscore the opponent. And we just need Trevor Lawrence to play better. He's got to play better. He's got to step up here. There's no excuses after this year, in my opinion. You got, like his wide receiver one for many years was Christian Kirk, who's not a wide receiver one.
No,
okay. And then he had Zay Jones and the swan song of Marvin Jones Jr. It's not like the Jags went out.
No one has Jags fantasy players for a reason. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like I had Christian Kirk, and you can get him in like the 7th round. Yeah, so now he's got some weapons. Now, the offensive line is, it's not great, but it's good enough. Unless you're getting, the Texans D line might give him trouble. But outside of that,
you're counting on him not to miss 7 games, not miss 5 games. That's the thing. You're counting how far of a knock is this guy away from? Oh, there you go. There goes the advantage we had with Trevor Lawrence. Because who's the next guy after him? Who's their backup?
Beathard? Is it still Beathard? No, it's Nick Mullins. Oh, and John Wolford. Not exactly, not the high, but they're not awful.
Yeah.
Now, look at the Jaguars schedule here. I kind of like it. So you get Houston off their Monday games. So Houston's on a short week coming in, right? The first 3 games are all winnable. You have Carolina, bad defense. You have, we'll talk about them in a bit. Like bad defense. Probably on the over there. Spoiler, but Carolina, very very beatable team. The Bengals, who stink early in the season historically. I know they're trying to do it the preseason. We'll see how they do. But I can't remember the last time the Bengals won a week 2 game. Then you get Houston off Monday night. Okay, the San Francisco KC. It's going to be tough. But Seattle, you get a home. You don't worry about the 12th man. The Rams, you get Wembley, which is your like second home. You love playing there. It is
like your second home.
It's like home field bump. Like I feel like they get a bump when they're in Wembley.
Of course.
Yeah. Like what do you give them? 1.5? I think I gave them 1.5 in Jacksonville. I might give them 2 in Wembley. Like
in Wembley,
I know people give them less, but I disagree. I think that the Wembley's worth more.
There's not going to be Ram fans in London, man.
Yeah,
the Jags have played there quite a bit,
but it's a Jags home game. You get your bye before going to Vegas. That can be nice. It's a beatable team on the road off your bye. Yeah, Houston, that's probably an L. But Chargers, Arizona, Tennessee, and they're all winnable games. Like at Denver's going to be tough, but like there's no Buffalo on the schedule.
No,
Houston,
exactly.
Buffalo, Baltimore, and who's the other one they had? The Bucs. Yeah, you guys get Carolina, the Jets, and Denver. Okay, Denver's tough, but it's in Denver.
It's late game.
It's gonna be cold, so that's probably a loss too. Sorry,
even that Denver game, it's sandwiched in between 4, 5, 6 winnable games. No, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 winnable games.
Their stretch at the end, they just got to be 500 going in a week. 12-13. And you could win out, except for that Denver game. You could really get hot. Because no Houston. It's 4 AFC South games, the Jets at home, and then at Denver. And you can punt the Denver game, so we don't need that game. Just go win Tennessee and Indy and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
And it sucks in Jacksonville.
I think this is what this is a top 5 easiest schedule in the NFL this season for sure.
Probably. It's not San Francisco, but
no, that's a walk in the park.
And it's but the fact they get the Rams in Wembley is just like that's one of your harder games.
Yeah,
and you take that's in my opinion, they have a big edge. I think they beat the Bills there a couple of years ago. It's just tough to beat the Jags there. They're just so comfortable. They do it every year. Yes, I like Jacksonville.
I like where the bye is. You've kind of convinced me with the schedule. I mean, what do they have to get to? 9 wins? 8, even better. They already have 5 at the back end, 5-6 at the back end.
Hopefully, I mean, even if you lose one of the divisional games, you know what I mean? Like, you should. I think they can get to 8 here, especially because you start with 3. Those 3 games are going to be key, but they're all Cincinnati's going to be tough at Cincinnati, but it's not. You're not dead in that game. The Bengals defense is horrid.
You faced the rookie week 1. I mean, come on. Well, it's not the rookie; it's Bryce Young, but. When you face the rookie Titans, only towards the end.
Late. So that's a problem. But Tennessee and Jacksonville's stories have been close. So the divisional games aren't free. But I'd much rather play them than Buffalo and
And you don't have to deal a lot with the primetime stuff. Obviously, you get the overseas game. But then when
they get the Monday nighter,
and then you got the Monday nighter against Case.
It feels like the Jags always have a Monday nighter where they're going to get steamrolled because that looks like a steamrolling.
Because you want to highlight the other team they're facing.
Exactly.
That's what they do. Hey, who could this team smash on primetime TV? Let's throw in TK's team. It's because he wants to go head to head with Raw. Come on.
Oh yes, of course. Head to head with Raw. That's why you want some Monday nighter against the marquee team. I'm betting the Jags over 7.5. I'll probably bet the division. If the team looks good, if they start to look good
off the bat, the division, or you're thinking halfway through the season?
No, I think you have to bet it off the bat because if they beat Houston in week 3, they'll be pick 'em or favorites
right away.
Yeah, if they beat Houston week 3, they will be probably favorites to win the division. If are close with the Texans, and the Texans schedule is hard, so I think you got to bet it. Plus 295. I'll look for a 300. I'll see if I find 300. I get involved. I like the win total the best. 8 wins. Come on, you can fall into 8 wins in the AFC South
again, barring any injuries to Lawrence. If there's injuries,
even then, well, if it's a 2-week thing, John Wolford or Nick Mullins can win a game, but
not
against maybe. No, not against. But I mean, against the Jets or Indianapolis or Tennessee, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along here. I like Jags here for me, and we'll move on to the Indianapolis Colts. So everywhere I've been hearing, Miami's a dumpster fire, this, that, and the other. This team looks just as much as a dumpster fire as in my opinion. So their owner died, okay, and it. I don't think they have any idea what they're doing. You go and get Daniel Jones. He's starting week 1.
And he died.
Is this a lame duck Dable situation where Shane Steichen's trying to keep his job? They need to win games, and Daniel Jones is an upgrade over Anthony Richardson. The market agrees with me. The Colts have taken money week 1 against the Dolphins, but
he's got weapons, man. There's a receiving core isn't bad.
Yeah, it's good skill position, okay, and you still have Quentin Nelson, but the offensive line isn't what it used to be because Stanza retired.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly's gone. He's not at center anymore. You got the tackles, they're okay. It's not what it used to be. You know what I mean? And they still don't have a tight end. Okay, this tight end is supposed to be this Tyler Warren kid. Their first round pick.
Yeah, he's supposed to be pretty good. Not that bad. He surprised a bit in preseason.
Yeah, so it could work out for the Colts here if Tyler Warren works at
Is
an
it
offense.
is it
But
any helpful that Daniel Jones is 4-0 all time against AFC South opponents?
oh well, maybe I mean it's the AFC South. Like I mean,
Is
it's
Danny
not that
Dimes gonna revive
hard.
his career in the South?
I mean, listen, I like Shane Steichen coming. I thought he was a pretty good guy. So they fire oh, I forget who the old defensive coordinator was. He was a bum. He's a bum. He was past his prime. Like he was past his prime. Older guy. His defenses were horrible. So you get Lou Anarumo from Cincinnati, who was good a few years ago when he had elite safety play. But then the last few years, you saw what Cincinnati was last year.
Yeah,
Kenny Ward, Travarius Ward, they're okay. Corners, Jalen Jones, like it's not the greatest, thing. You still have DeForest Buccaneers very good, but that guy's, slipping on a banana peel away from getting hurt.
you have Taylor. You still have Jonathan Taylor running.
Grover Stewart's running back Taylor.
Also health concerns.
Yeah, health. Josh Downs I like, Alec Pierce I like, but it feels like these guys underperform. You know what I mean? Every Pittman last year was no good. Like
I know. It's because you look at his fantasy projected ratings and you think he's supposed to be good.
No, but
Richardson. Yeah. But Richardson was really bad last year. 47.5 completion rate.
Oh, he was horrible.
He was benched. Like this guy, sure he can run and stuff, but I don't know. This team is gonna struggle, but I do believe Daniel Jones is an upgrade over the kid.
Oh, I agree. I agree it's an upgrade. I just I worry that this team so what I did last night is I went and I looked through who did the Indianapolis Colts beat last year. You want to know you want to talk about cupcakes, the sisters of the poor. You know what I mean? Like Tyler Huntley was starting when they beat the Dolphins. Okay, they beat the Steelers. They lost to Malik Willis. You know what I mean? They barely lost to the Texans. They blew both games against the Texans. Oh, they beat the Bears. Week 3 when Caleb Williams. I guess the Bears were kind of competitive there, but I mean, we saw what it ended up being the Bears.
Still early, yeah.
They beat the Titans twice. Oh boy, that's the Titans were 2-15 against the spread. They got killed by the Giants. They got killed by the Broncos. They got killed by the Lions. Oh, you beat the Patriots, by 1 point. You beat the Jets by 1 point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Win.
Yeah, like there's all these wins. They're like suspect teams. They didn't beat anybody good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, and not only were their wins, mediocre. They were in mediocre. They were like bad teams. Like I said, Tyler Huntley. Yeah. Like the Giants beat you. 1 point over the Patriots. 1 point over the Jets who couldn't get out of their own way. Like the Titans, they beat them by 3 and 8. One score games. They're beating these mediocre to bad teams. Like I think this team had a cupcake schedule. They played the right teams at the right time to get 8 wins. I don't think they get it this year.
Yeah, I think the 8 wins is a bit fraudulent. It's not a good reflection of what their schedule will be like this week. But let's talk about that week 1 game because they're 0-10-1, their last 11 season openers.
And they're favored. Low key, I just entered a survivor pool and I'm considering taking Miami. Because I'm like, you're never going to play them because Tua's health. You're not playing Tyler Huntley this time. This is Tua. Okay, they're a mess in the organization, but Tua's looking good. You know what I mean? I don't know. They could sneeze.
0-10-1, man. 0-10-1. Last
0-10-1 week 1. Yeah. Now it is the most dysfunctional team they get to play, but we'll see. It will be a healthy Dolphins team. Well, Storm Duck is cornerback 1, so Michael Pittman might have a day. But that's a big game. You lose that game, Denver. That's a tough game. He'll probably beat the Titans early in the season. Cam Ward might figure it out, but I don't know. Week 3 is a little soon. We never know. Jaden Daniels week 2 was the coming out party for him, right? At the Rams. Vegas at home. The winnable games. There are winnable games here
early on. Yeah,
so
a little bit of a
eke out these, yeah. It's not a cupcake though. It's not Tyler Huntley. It's not last year's Jets or last year's Patriots. You know what I mean? Like
it could
like the team last year's Titans. Like they had a game against Malik Willis, and we'll watch him there. I know he won 2 games last year. I know he took my money, but it wasn't because he was any good. It's because the Titans and Colts sucked. Okay. Go watch Malik Willis in the preseason. He was horrible. These coin flip games, Vegas, Arizona, Chargers, Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Miami, Atlanta, and Berlin, all coin flip games. If any of those teams have a pulse, they beat the Colts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the bye here is really late for this team. It gives them no adjustments, no way of figuring it out. And if they go down, say the first 2 games, and then Cam Ward beats them in week 3, do they start swapping QBs again? Do they go back to Richardson to see what they really have? Do they just give up on the Daniel Jones project?
Yeah, maybe I should bring alt unders here because I mean the schedule gets harder as the season goes along. So if they slip up early, you lose to Vegas, you lose to the Titans, where are you winning here? I guess go to Berlin.
You ain't beating Houston second half if Houston needs to catch up wins to get the playoffs.
But
Jacksonville do the same.
Your Houston home game. Houston's on a extra rest.
Yeah.
And then, you got to go to Houston week 18. It could be for the division if this team's any good, if this team performs. Their offensive line is good, but I don't see it. I think I think there's upside with the other 3 teams in the division. There is a little bit of upside here. Daniel Jones should be an improvement, but I feel like this team needs a hard reset. And I think if they start 1-5 or something like they might just pull it. Like
you think at 1-5 they just tank whatever, go for picks, go trade some guys.
It depends. I don't know. I don't know what they could fire the coach and put in.
Well, the pressure is to win is now for him, right? I don't think they have the patience for a long-term project, especially with no owner.
Here's the thing: this could be like a Bears last season because I kind of think Steichen's kind of good. And I kind of think if they start well, like the Bears did last year, and it starts going downhill, and instead of winning those 1-point games against teams they should beat, they're losing them.
Yeah,
and thing gets fired like Eberflus did, right? And remember that was the end of the Bears, right? I mean, it was already over, but when he got fired, the defense was completely awful. And if Steichen gets fired, the offense in this team could get completely unraveled, in my opinion. Yeah. So maybe there's some alt under here. I will be under 7.5 because I feel like you probably get to at least like you're probably gonna be hoping for maybe a Jacksonville win week 17 or Houston win week 18. If the Colts are mediocre like they always are. So, I can always, if I feel if Jacksonville's got like a backup quarterback, maybe I try to find a way to get out of it. But
for me, I also lean the under and I'll tell you this: if Daniel Jones beats me, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I want him to try to beat me because I'm going to bank on him not being as great for this team as many are starting to think he might be. Yeah. He got named week 1 pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, no, I heard that. So what I heard was that the fact he didn't get named week 1 quicker tells me that he wasn't very good in camp. That's what I've been hearing. So I have this team has quarterback issues. They have organizational issues. I like the under. I think this smells like last year's Saints, where you get a couple injuries or a couple, and they start pulling guys. I don't see this team going anywhere. If they do, good for them. Good for Daniel Jones. We can always pivot.
If by week 11 there's only 5 wins here, it's a lot.
I don't know if it's a lock, but I'm hoping for if they're 4-6, I'm very comfortable going into that home stretch, right? Because that's your tough divisional games, and we don't know what Jacksonville's going to look like, but we're if I'm high on one team, I'm probably low on another one here in the division. But under for the Colts. Under for the Colts for me, 7.5. And I might dabble in some alts because the more I talk about it, the more I smell disaster.
Well, you're you're saying alt like 6'5"?
6'5", whatever. When things. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one. When things go bad.
Yeah.
Well, when things go bad in the NFL, when you have bad organization, they can work. Because remember, the guy at the top is gone. Yeah. So I don't know if there's it feels like something's up.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about the Titans, baby.
40 minutes already. Cam Ward, the team. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, done. Titans done.
The Tennessee Titans. I kind of smell a little bit of Jaden Daniels with this team.
They did add a lot of vets, man.
Yeah, it smells like Washington 2.0 a little bit. Ooh. So that's why, maybe. It like you got a good receiver one, right? Who's underperformed. You got
still a very old
there. Yeah, okay, your offensive line is suspect, but you brought in Kevin Zeitler. You brought in Cushenberry. Okay, Zeitler's good. Very good. A little old, but Cushenberry, he's nothing fantastic. But did you see who they had last year? This is a massive upgrade from that god awful offensive line they've had for years now. So they finally bring in some guys in there. The other guy, we'll see what happens. But those two guys in the middle, at least, I'm pretty confident about them. I like Okonkwo. He's an underrated tight end. He's Simmons on the defense. Barton apparently has been flashing in camp. Even the Titans secondary isn't that bad. You have L'Jarius Sneed there. You had down your last year.
You got a lot of vets. You got a lot of. You have an old defense, a defense that just knows how to play in the NFL.
Yeah. So I kind of this is a team that I'm not touching because I kind of feel this could be Washington, but it could be it could be.
I think they're 2 years away from being Washington.
Yeah,
I don't think they have the offensive weapons. I mean, who do you really have? Burks out there.
Well, they have Ridley, and
I guess you get
they have
Ridley's been downgraded a couple of times.
Yeah, but people are the fantasy football community is high on Mr. Calvin Ridley, and that I always take that as a sign because those guys are more tuned into the.
I suppose the projections, the rates, and all that.
Target share is going to be high. For sure.
So he might be a good fantasy player, but he's going to have to catch a lot of those. And I'm not taking away from Cam Ward. I do think he's his first overall pick. He was the best QB in the draft. He's got the second best offensive rookie of the year award odds. So, a lot of things are expected here. We'll see what the post-Vrabel era is. Callahan's in here. I don't think he has any pressure to really perform this year.
Well, he was the coach last year, and it was a disaster. I mentioned 2-15 against the spread. I bet the Titans a few times last. Okay, week one they should have covered. Will Levis. Yeah. So here's big addition by subtraction. Will Levis is gone. Johnny will agree with this. He's in the chat. He will 100% agree that getting rid of he's on IR, so he can't come in. The backup is Brandon Allen. Him being gone is addition by subtraction. They're automatically better without him ending with just some of the worst plays you'll ever see. Will Levis, oh boy. But I mean, it's come on, look at that week one game. What you don't want your rookie quarterback doing? Going to Mile High,
facing probably the best defense.
Going to Mile High. Yeah, it's rough. Run a mock. Maybe we should do that one time. Maybe I'll think about it, Brian. That's not a bad idea. Maybe we could run a mock draft. I don't know. Maybe an impromptu mock draft next week if I'm not busy. Sure, I'll think about it, Brian. But yeah, I am. I mean, I'm just gonna take Buck in the first round. We'll talk about him in a minute. But it's an awful start. At Denver versus the vet team, like, the Rams, we don't know with Stafford. Your first winnable game is probably the Colts. And then it's not, Houston, and then Arizona off Thursday. You can look. I'm not playing a win total, so I didn't really dive too deep into the schedule. But it's not tough. Like, you're probably going to beat Cleveland and New Orleans late in the season because you have a rookie quarterback who you want to get reps, and you're probably going to be playing for. Like, you're not playing. This team isn't playing for the first overall pick. They have their rookie quarterback. They have their quarterback of the future.
Yeah. They're just playing to get better. That's it. That's why I say I think next year they'll be a bit more of a threat. This year they're just here for the ride. Let Ward get his licks in. Sort of what the Bears did with Caleb last year. There was no real there was kind of pressure because you're in the Chicago market. Here you're not in the Chicago market. You can easily coast a season. The Titans aren't expected. The fan base isn't expecting you to come out and compete for a playoff spot. I still think the over-under is at 6 is being generous, but that's because they're looking at the Browns. They're looking at the Saints as 2 wins.
Also, if Jacksonville's no good,
then you steal 1. Maybe you steal 2 from Indy. So there's New England up to
New England now home, weird stuff. Like they're like, if you like the Titans, like, if you think the Titans, like, if Cam Ward is gonna play alts. Like, don't over 5.5, over 6. Fuck that. Play 7.5. Play 8.5. Play Titans, AFC South. Why not? This division's bad. If Cam Ward is Jane Daniels 2.0, or like somewhere in that vicinity, if Calvin Ridley's going to cook, you know what I mean? If the offensive line upgrades are going to make a big difference with an offensive line coach like Bryce Callahan.
I can't wait for your round 5 draft pick, Calvin Ridley.
Well, it's almost already locked in. I mean, I'm giving it away. So
with
maybe
your round 12 Cam Ward pickup.
Oh, I drafted Jane Daniels last year. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, let's move to Jason's division here, the NFC South. So I think we're going to do reverse here. Let's start with the bottom. We'll start with the Saints. This team is... So they're not as bad, in my opinion. Week 1 anyways, they're not as bad as what people are making fun of them to be. Like, look at the depth chart. All their ones are pretty, outside of quarterback, right? Yeah. Quarterback's an issue, but they have wide receivers. They got Brandon Cooks, okay, but they picked up that Vela guy. He's probably gonna be wide receiver 3 by the end of the season, or even wide receiver 2. They traded for him. You know what I mean? Their offensive line is healthy. Okay, their offensive line was injured to hell last year. Their defense is healthy. I know Demario Davis is like 36, but he's their best defender.
They have Cam
they
Jordan
got
also.
Godshow.
Yeah.
Sorry?
They have Cam Jordan, who's also up there in age.
Oh my! Yeah, he's still on the team. He's like how old? He's older than Cowboy Keith at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Saints here. If Spencer Rattler, probably the week 1 starter, but I don't know if they should even start him. I seen enough of him.
There was a reason Chad Kelly made those remarks about being good enough to be an NFL quarterback. He's looking at the Saints roster and he's like, I could QB this team.
Well, I talked to a Saints fan today, and he tells me, you gotta talk about the Saints in a better light.
Listen, they're developing guys. I think their head coach is, what is it, Keelan Moore? He's a QB developer. So it's like this is a project. It's not a 1-year project. It's not a 2-year project. It might be even a 3. You got to see what you have in Tyler Show, Spencer Rattler.
I also don't know how to pronounce his name. That's something I gotta work.
Rattler or Show?
I don't know. Is it Shug? Is it Shug? Is it? I don't know.
I'm going with Show, like rough. Is it rough?
It's not Show.
Chuff? It's not
Chuff,
Show?
Yeah. Chuff.
Like dough, but Show? That's what I was thinking. But yeah, Tyler. Shuff? I don't know.
Who knows? We'll take a look at their schedule for fun. Look at all the teams who are very, very happy to play the Saints this year.
It's not overly brutal. It's just like the lack of QB here is what caps the ceiling on this schedule.
So
But it's
all you
not
need to know about this,
some bad ones, but
yeah,
not the worst.
no, like I said, they have Kamara, they have Olave, they have
Yeah.
Shaheed, Dele, Juwan Johnson. They have an offensive line.
Yeah.
What's really bad though, their run defense is horrid.
Yeah, they can't stop.
Horrible.
No.
Now they brought in Godshow. I mentioned him already. That should help. Demario Davis is a good player, but he can't do it all. Granderson, I've heard people like him. Kool-Aid McKinstry, year 2. How's he going to play at corner? Because Justin Reed, he's good. He's an upgrade.
Yeah.
But Isaac Yiadom as your nickel. I obviously Chase Young. Chase Young it got a lot of pressures last year. He was very, very good in terms of the pressures last year, but I feel like you can score points against these because this defense doesn't scare anybody. When Cam, I don't know if they're going to be able to generate any pass rush. I think the outside of Chase Young, okay, he'll probably generate pressure, a little bit of pressure, but the secondary is so bad. It's like for the secondary and the pass rush to be enough to stop the opponent's passing game. I don't know. And then Chase Young is a pass rusher, and he's not very good against the run. So
yeah,
it's like teams are just going to run on these guys.
And these guys don't get a break until late in the season too. So like they're just going to have to weather the gauntlet for a long time.
So this team has a home game against the Giants, the Jets, the Panthers, and they aren't favored in a single game. That's how the market's rating these guys. Absolute bottom of the barrel, dumpster, trash.
They're thinking this team is 2-16, maybe. That's what they're seeing. And maybe even 0-16, some people are saying. I saw
0-17. That never been done.
17. Yeah,
I don't think they're in that. They're going to win a divisional game against the Falcons, or they'll beat the Jets week 16 or something. Or the Giants.
For me, what you're really a game that will be telling how bad this defense is if Seattle puts up crazy points on this team.
Oh yeah, Sam Darnold.
If Seattle wins 20+. This team is done.
Yeah. And look at their look how many primetime games they have.
Well, they don't have primetime games. They have 0.
They
face people.
The NFL is burying them at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
Yeah. No one's watching these games unless you're a fan of the other team.
So the NFL thinks they're bad. The market thinks they're worse. Maybe they're a little too low in the market, but you play Miami too. That could be a team that's completely disheveled, especially by week 13. But I don't think they go winless. I'm not betting that because there's enough easy games. Tennessee,
their end of season after the bye. Depending where those other teams are in their spots, are they trying to fit themselves into a better draft position? Are they looking at, it's time to roll out some of the rookies to see what we got? There could be some sneaks here.
Yeah. Also, if they don't have a win, they're going to be playing hard. You don't want to go.
They will try. Yeah. I don't think this team will not try. I think they will try. I just don't think they're going to be able to execute.
Early in the season, I think they might be a little bit undervalued if the quarterback play is.
When you say undervalued, you mean like the spread? Like they'll be able to close a spread?
They'll cover, I think, because like I said, their ones are pretty good outside of the quarterback. If the quarterback plays, bad-ish, not awful, but mediocre to bad, I think they can. You might cover some spreads with these guys because they're just so low in the market.
Yeah.
But if the quarterback plays just atrocious, there's nothing you can do. It just makes such a big difference.
So, are you betting the Saints?
No, it's pass.
Then let's move on.
This team's garbage. Sorry, Mitch. This team is absolute.
Hey, don't break his heart, okay? Don't break his heart, Mitch. We love you, man.
All right. So the next team is the Carolina Panthers. So this is everybody's darling dark horse.
It's mine too.
Bryce Young showed that he is a capable NFL quarterback. and they have a good offensive line. Chuba Hubbard might be very, very Canadian. Chuba Hubbard might be very, very good. I think he is very, very good.
And they picked up Dowdle too.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle. They got tons of depth. Trevor Etienne, tons of depth. Black, they love this Blackshear kid. I don't know why. He's the kick returner. Okay, that's why. But he gets a carry every once in a while for some reason. Tommy Tremble, tight end. Now this McMillan kid.
6'4".
People are very high on him.
Hey, he can jump. His vertical is ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So. We'll see. I heard Leggett was having a good camp. So
yep. Also another guy with a high vertical, 6'3", I think he is. Something like that.
Yeah. So their best players last year were Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard, and Robert Hunt, the guard they got from Miami, which is the reason why Miami's been awful the last few years. They lost.
Their O-line kind of stuck to their O-line didn't see any real subtractions. So it's kind of a plus for them, like continuity there.
Oh, the O-line on this team is good. The offense on this team could be very, very good. Bryce Young is, say, average level NFL quarterback at this point.
He had a good second half when he was reinstated. Now he did kind of thing. He played tough guys. Didn't he play KC, Tampa, and Philly?
Yes. But he did kind of pump his stats a little bit that week 18 game against the Falcons. The Falcons were technically still alive to win the division at that point. But you needed Tampa to lose to the Saints or something. So, that wasn't going to happen. But, the offense, this offense looks fun. I like Hubbard. I like the offensive line. Bryce Young is good enough. I don't think, people, offense matters way, way more than defense in current NFL. Like, way more. So, based on that, it's just like, the team is going to be better. That's why their win total is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
They didn't make their win total last year, despite having a resurgence the second half of Bryce Young. But it doesn't matter. The win last season was Bryce Young as a quarterback. Like, we have a guy.
You might not go digging for another one. Yeah.
No. He might not be top 10, but he could be league average. He can be, and if you have, if you have a good run game and a good defense, that can do well. Look at Jalen Hurts. He's not. Eagles fans will tell you he's this great quarterback. He's good. That team is excellent. The way he does what he needs to do, and he's very, very good.
So you're saying he's like a system quarterback?
A
really good system quarterback. He's a bit above that.
Right? I'm saying you can get a Jalen Hurts and put him on the Eagles, and you're going to win a Super Bowl. Right?
You can't put him on the.
Put Bryce Young on the Eagles. Maybe they win a Super Bowl too. Like I don't know. I mean that team's loaded. Or
so it is a system QB.
I don't know about that. Maybe tougher. Hurts is better. Like Hurts is better.
Yeah.
Now they get Derek Brown back, who was hurt last year. All right. A lot of the J.C. Horn re-signed him.
Yeah, but you got your stars. They did lose a couple guys.
Bad. Bobby Brown the third. Outside of Derek Brown and Christian Roseboom. DJ Wanham. I've heard good things about DJ Wanham, but his numbers aren't very good. The second outside of Horn, Mike Jackson.
It's only Derek and J.C. Horn. Those are your starters on this defense.
Yeah, and the rest of the guys are bad, like replacement level to bad.
Yeah.
This defense was the worst defense in the league last year. In fact, the best rushing attack in football last year wasn't the Ravens. It wasn't the Eagles. It was the collective of teams who played the Panthers. That's how bad their run defense was. The Panthers just lining up, me, you, and a couple of guys lining up against the Panthers were averaging.
Fantastic fantasy name.
This run defense was atrocious. Now, they were hurt. I understand that, but it's not like it's some of the same guys. They can't tackle. I don't know if you can teach that. They probably have I don't think I think they have the same defensive corner. I think they kept him. But I don't think it was his fault. I mean, it's just he's
Sometimes you just
with
need talent, man. That's all it is, and you don't have it.
Yeah, it's Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, and
But
who
this is
else?
why it's important. So if you know you got something in Bryce Young, and you don't have to bother trying to figure out your offense, you can start rebuilding through your D, and that's what they need to move to now.
Yeah, they need to. They get but they're doing the right.
They're on the right track. They're on the right track.
And we'll figure out the defense. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do in the NFL. So I get why people think it's the dog. The problem is, I think the defense is just so bad that it doesn't matter. You're going to make the Saints offense look good in some games. You're going to make everybody look good. This defense just there's a line where your defense is just so bad, like the Bengals last year. The defense is just so bad that you can have one of the best offenses of football. It doesn't matter. So I'm not high on this team. I think that they're going to be fun. Probably going to be a lot of overs if the offense is fun. But yeah,
it'll be a fun watch. It'll be a fun watch. But yeah, I mean, it's not a playoff roster. The schedule, and now this is my only thing, is like, what, the first 7 are against teams with losing records last year?
Yeah,
Atlanta was tied.
But remember, I think I bet Carolina against Dallas last year. Dallas want to kick the snot out of them. Why? Because Dallas are front runners, and when they play a bad defense,
but they can go 3-4 here. 3-4 is plausible.
Yeah, they'll probably beat Miami. They'll probably beat. They give the Falcons and New England a run for their money. Maybe they beat one of them. They beat one of Dallas and the Jets, right? Just on London, that's a good spot. They could be 4-3, 5-2. I mean, it's not.
That's what I'm saying. You're over 6.5, right?
Well, it's 7. It's
it 7? It's moved up.
You need to juice 6.5. I would.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I could see 7.
And then you got 2 games against the Saints, right? So if you go 5-2, so maybe that's why. I mean, yeah. If you look at the schedule, it's not the hardest. You get 2 teams off international games, the Falcons and the Jets. That's on the road, but 2 teams that's pretty good. So yeah, maybe they do make a step forward. This schedule is kind of cakey. I mean, Green Bay's tough.
I think that's why people are high on them. It's not basically looking at the roster; they're just looking at who they're facing. But again, New England could easily slap this team, mollywop them.
That's
37-33,
But the defense, you saw, last year with the Bengals, it doesn't matter how good the offense could be fantastic, and they're still going to lose games because they can't stop anybody, and especially they can't stop anybody on the ground, and that's even worse because when you can't stop anybody on the ground, they dictate the clock and they decide who kicks the last second field goal, not you. That's a problem. But yeah, this team will be fun. This will be a fun team to watch. But I'm not overly enthusiastic. Now, if you see the defense play okay, and you see the and the offense is cooking it could, this could be a dangerous team. But I don't see a world where this defense is even league average. It's just that bad. But stranger things have happened. Defense is effort based.
They won't be league average, but you never know. You never know.
They could.
They might look league average against Arizona and New England and Miami. They might look league average against Arizona, Atlanta, New England. Maybe not Atlanta, but some of these guys here.
I feel like if they look good against Miami and some of the early, and they go to that Dallas game, maybe we bet Dallas because Dallas is the front runners. When they see a bad defense, they pad all their stats.
That's when you start making your money. Yeah, the Jerry Jones game.
Yeah, but fun team. Oh, what's that total going to be? 55. If this is Micah Parsons, with Dallas's defense, though, Micah Parsons is looking pretty awful right now.
Is it confirmed he's gone?
I don't know.
He's been removing things from Max.
You want to talk to an 8? I don't want to turn this into Cowboys.
We're not talking about the Cowboys, so let's talk about the Falcons.
Yes. Okay. So this is
some
Johnny's pick to win the NFC South.
So prop
The
man
Atlanta
picked this.
Falcons.
Prop man picked this.
Yeah. So now he picked this before the right tackle got hurt. So I don't know if he wants to change that.
He's backing
but
it up. He's in
Connor
the chat.
McGarry.
I bet you wings, prop man. I bet you some wings.
Connor McGarry is. Does Johnny get the field? Does he get if the Panthers and Saints win it? Like,
no, he just gets the Falcons. If Falcons win the division,
I don't know. I might
win the division. We'll go the other way with the wings. If the other two win the division, we'll go for wings and split the bill.
That's live.
Yeah.
The Falcons signed Easton Stick, which is never a good sign for anybody.
Easton Stick, oh baby,
Easton Stick. He's the third string. They probably signed him. Wings is on. Here we go.
Oh baby.
They probably signed him because if Penix gets hurt, they don't want to put Cousins in there because then if Cousins gets hurt, they gotta pay him.
That's the only reason.
Their backup quarterback $40 million this year. Oh boy, what a time we live in. Obviously, they have a good running back. They have a good wide receiver. Bijan and London are very, very good. They have a good running back too.
Mooney's not bad.
Mooney's good too.
He's got that injury early on, right? So he won't be in.
And that's a big problem because after him, it's Ray McCloud was good last year.
Wasn't the worst.
And then Kadero Hodge, who's like borderline NFL receiver, and then after that, it gets pretty.
Aren't we in Kyle Pitts season this year though, or is it every year?
Yeah, I mean, there's the Kyle Pitts factor. Does the new offensive coordinator
trigger something?
The same offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson, who I think might be pretty good. Does he unlock Kyle Pitts? Or at this point, I think Kyle Pitts is just a bust. I mean, the guys drafted after him were Jamar Chase and Penny Sewell. I mean,
if he's comparing himself to that draft year, yes.
Yeah, it's horrid.
Listen, I think he gets a lot of hate, more so because of his fantasy stats than what he actually produces on product.
So, and not only is Atlanta's right tackle hurt, and it sounds like he's going to miss some time. Their backup right tackle, Storm Norton, who I've made fun of a few times, it also hurt. So now you're going to the guy behind Storm Norton, and he's not better than Storm Norton, so that's a problem. Atlanta's got some issues on that. And remember, Penix is a lefty, so that's his blind side.
Yeah, you need
so it's a big problem. We've already seen the line move week 1 towards Tampa because of that injury. And this defense, again, is bad.
Yeah.
Like Mike Hughes, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, okay. But,
they're counting on some rookies to be their pass rushers, pretty much.
They don't have
Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr. It's rookies, man, that you're anticipating to do this pass rush. Now, granted, this Atlanta team starts really strong every year. It's the way they finish their seasons that continuously – it's the same story year after year. They collapse. Well, last year was lost 6 of the last 8. All they needed to win was 1 or 2 more in that span.
They swept Tampa, didn't
they? They beat Tampa in the series.
Twice.
Or was it 1? No, it was 1-1.
2-0. No, 2-0.
2-0?
It was 2. They beat Tampa twice. They still Kirk Cousins.
That's right.
Became a god against Tampa, and then the next game he threw like 3 pick sixes or whatever. Nickelback D. Alford. I'll pass. You signed Leonard Floyd. Dan Quinn, defensive guru. Let Leonard Floyd go. And then they bring in a kicker to challenge Young Ho Koo. Why?
Yeah, I have no idea.
If you cut Young Ho Koo, you know how many teams? There's at least a dozen teams who would consider picking him up, and probably one that would. The Browns being number 1, who don't have a kicker. We'll talk about them next week. But my God, I mean, Young Ho Koo is a top kicker. I know he can miss the one that kills you, which is horrid. But I like Young Ho Koo. I think he's a good kicker, and I'm not. I think
he's
bringing
top 5 in the league
was I don't know. Maybe they think the competition's going to push him. Maybe it's just a charade, a mental thing.
Maybe they just.
I don't know. I think that was dumb though. I don't know why would you Like, don't get in your kicker's head.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. What's the schedule look like with these guys? I know they have the rotation with the South, and I don't think it's as brutal as the Bucks.
So let's see here. Tampa Bay week 1. Now, obviously, Tampa's going to be missing some guys.
Yeah.
They have a lot of primetime games. 5. So maybe Johnny's like, oh, the NFL wants these guys to be good. They're going to get, the favorable whistle.
They the NFL can swap some of those games, right? No, they can't swap the TNFs and MNFs, right? Just the
I think they can swap, but they have right now. They have 6 standalone games. 6 for a team, that's But maybe I don't know. Maybe they know Penix is good. I don't know. They could know something. And the ones that aren't standalone games, I mean, pretty winnable. Carolina, Miami, New England, Carolina again, New Orleans, the Jets, New Orleans again.
Yeah,
Arizona, Seattle at home. Very, very well. They beat Seattle at home last year. Very, very winnable games. Yeah, Johnny believes. See, that's the thing. If Kyle Pitts all of a sudden's good, but Kyle Pitts needs to block right now because the right tackle's out.
Someone has to help. Yeah,
so I think
he's not catching because he's
put
blocking.
Kyle Pitts on the edge there as a blocker, and then you unlock him later in terms of in the receiving game. That would be my take on that.
Yeah, don't waste your second round pick on him.
Yeah. So yeah, especially with the right tackle, I think it's he's definitely not an early fantasy. You get him late, You know what I mean? Like I had him last year in the league, but like he was like my tight end 2.
T2. That's it, man.
Yeah, he's a fine tight end 2. But like I said, he's probably gonna be blocking early in the season. The Washington game is interesting because remember that was the Sunday night game last year. That was kind of the game that killed Atlanta's season.
Yeah,
it might be a good revenge spot there. There are some winnable. I can see where Johnny's at here. Like it's definitely easier than Tampa Bay.
Well, you probably win this division at 9 or 10, right? That's how you win this division, 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah, you win this division now, which is why I'm saying like even Carolina's live. I would have asked.
They do need to beat Tampa Bay. Facing Tampa Bay week 1 at home is very advantageous for them.
Yes, because of the injury to Godwin and McMillan.
Yeah, exactly.
And Wirfs. So yeah, that's good. This schedule is very navigatable, and the NFL likes them.
Yeah, and we still don't know what Minnesota has in their QB.
Yeah, So
you could come out 2-3-0 here. Maybe you go even if you go into the bye 3-1, you're pretty happy.
Yeah, I just think. Okay, well, so here's the problem with the Falcons, but we have to get rid of the Falcons schedule, and we have to put up the graphic for the other team. Because I think that the problem with the Falcons is that this team is just too good. I think Tampa's really good. Now they're hurt.
11. If they were not as hurt, I think they win 11.
Right now, but I mean, you look at this team. The only complete team in the NFC. So the Falcons defense sucks. The Panthers defense sucks. The Saints don't have a quarterback. Baker Mayfield. Figuring out now the concern with Tampa obviously is they lost another offensive coordinator. Yeah. But from what I've heard, it's going to be the same offense. It'll
be running.
They found their running back. So the big thing last year, Tampa's running game has stunk forever. Even the Tom Brady years, they
had nobody, and now they do. They had Fournette for that few seasons with Brady.
Yeah,
but it was like Twilight.
Playoff money,
yeah. But yeah, Bucky's the legit guy,
But now they got a guy. Okay, they got a run game, and they got a good offensive line.
Rashard White isn't a bad backup to Bucky.
No, he's a good third down back. He's a good pass catching running back. Give Bucky a break. Put White in there. Change of pace. Then bring Bucky back and have Bucky murder them. That's how I would play. And you're gonna see with the injuries. You're going to see Bucky get the ball a lot, I feel. I love this team. I like it. Okay, I saw on Reddick, whatever, but I mean, I like when like you look at their team, it's almost the same team as last year. Like, what was it? They got Hassan Reddick.
Now, the biggest issue here is their secondary is still pretty tough. Last year it was 29th versus the pass. They only had 7 interceptions all year. But they did address their corners. They got Benjamin Morrison, second round. This was a big pull there. They picked up another rookie in Jacob Parrish in the 3rd round. They still have Levante David, who's a future Hall of Fame left back. He's on 14 years of experience here. It's probably his last season, to be honest. So it's a swan
Jacob
song.
Parrish is going to start too. He's probably going to start.
Yeah.
And I don't hate Christian Izzian. He was okay last year.
He was all right. They picked up some receiver depth too, right? They picked up Sterling Shepard. So they got some additional guys who can catch.
And this Tez Johnson guy, they got him in the 7th round, and he looks like he's going to be their return man. Him or Palmer. I don't know if Johnson's going to make the team, but with the he probably will with the wide receiver injuries.
Yeah. But my concern here with Tampa is just how they open up the season. It's a pretty tough gauntlet.
Pull up that schedule.
But my thing is, Baker Mayfield is a legit quarterback. I think he played near MVP levels last year. I think that continues this year. There's no reason it shouldn't. He's just found his real home here in Tampa, and everyone's behind him. This is his division. The Bucs have won this division 4 straight, 5 straight playoffs, and I'm trying to, always staying on top for that long is tough. And this schedule is a testament of having to playing so well. I mean, look at who they're facing in this lineup. They got Philly.
Yeah,
they got the Lions.
The Falcons' Bills. Extra games were the Vikings, the Washington, and who's the other one?
Dolphins? Was it the Dolphins?
No. Everybody plays the
Jets.
East.
They got the Jets.
No. That's the East still. It's an AFC team.
The Browns. Was it the Browns? No,
they don't. Baltimore doesn't. What's the extra game here?
Yeah.
It's the Colts. They play the Colts. Yeah, the Colts in Berlin.
Colts.
And Tampa,
yes, right.
It's Houston, Philly, and Detroit.
Yes.
Much harder. You could argue Washington, Philly might be a pretty close, but the other two are probably. But and the Detroit game's Monday Night Football, and in Campbell, and you get 2 teams on the mini bye. You got to play them off the mini bye. You have 2 Monday nighters. Now your short weeks are against the Jets and the Saints.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Back to back on the road to start the season. But you finish soft. Arizona, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami, Carolina. And Miami.
The back end, you're good.
Cover them a lot, but I mean, like complete wild.
Well, week 17, Miami.
Bad.
Week 17, Miami could be fighting for position or completely in the gutter. Who knows?
And look at their last 6 games going to the playoffs.
Yeah,
the furthest place they go is Raleigh.
Yeah,
they don't. They're gonna be comfortable, ready for the play. This is a dangerous team, in my opinion. This team could win the NFC. Now, I don't think you bet it right now because the start is hard. You wait till they play Detroit, and then you bet it. If you like Tampa, Wirtz is out, Godwin's out, McMillan might be out for a bit.
They're gonna look bad on the stats the first 4 games, maybe not against the Jets so much, but with that secondary still being tough, and you got your wide receiver gauntlets in London, Collins. You're gonna have AJB and Smith in the Philly game. It could, you even got Wilson on the Jets.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's pretty good too.
So if you're looking at a little bit of a mini stack on if you guys can play DraftKings, stack against the Bucs early on.
It depends how this Parrish guy turns out.
Well, that's
Zion
the thing.
Paul and Jamal Dean are okay. You know what I mean? Like they're not awful.
No.
And Zion McCollum got better as the season went along. And they ended up losing to Washington in the playoffs. And they probably could have won that game. Then Washington went to whoop Detroit. And they beat Detroit in the regular season. So, Tampa was, a fumble away from the NFC Championship game potentially. And they've given Philly fits. This team is dangerous. I think this team could go to the Super Bowl. I really like this team. This is definitely the best.
You like them to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC?
I
don't hate it either. I think the NFC is wide more open than it is than in previous years, to be honest.
Yeah, and if they play like a Kansas City or they'll probably get whooped by Baltimore or Buffalo. But if they play a Kansas City or a Cincinnati or somebody with they can kind of go to like I think Buffalo and Baltimore might wipe the floor with these guys, but wipe the floor. They win by 7 points or something. But
well, we'll get a preview of Buffalo.
If they can avoid that at Buffalo game, that'd be interesting. I want to see how that matches up because that would be my concern. Yeah, that would be my concern with the Super Bowl. I would rather just bet the NFC because everybody in the NFC is beatable.
So their win total here is 9, right?
Yeah, it's 9.5. But like I said, it's tough early. You don't need to bet it now.
Yeah, it probably even drops halfway. Oh no, you can't bet win totals in the middle of the season, can you?
Yeah, you can. Of course, you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can bet it on.
So if they go 1-3, then the number probably drops to 8.
They're not going 1-3.
No, I think they start 2-2.
No, I think they go 3-1.
Maybe 3-1. Yeah, they probably can handle Texans.
Yeah, I mean, Philly. I'm not sold on Philly either. I haven't bet the win total under for the Eagles yet, but I probably will. I think that's kind of a good bet.
If they're healthy, Phillies. If they're healthy and Philly comes to town, then it's a pick 'em.
But yeah, they could lose 4 in a row there. Philly, Seattle, San Fran, Detroit. It's a bad spots.
Not easy.
Yeah.
And then you get the bye, and then after the bye, you got a pretty easy. You got Buffalo.
Oh, you get New Orleans, then the bye.
Solves
all your problems.
Yeah. There you go. Go with a win into the bye, and then you get New England fresh at home, and handle that.
Week after Monday Night Football against Detroit, probably bet
the season starts.
Bucks to win probably bet the Bucks to win the NFC. I think I'm going to bet the division just because the Atlanta schedule is kind of soft.
It is kind of
weird. And then they do play.
But I got wings on it, so I need to come through, man.
We'll see. If Atlanta's up a couple games, maybe I'll bet Tampa after the Detroit game as well. But what I do like preseason is my boy Bucky Irving to lead the league in rushing.
I like it. I
like it even more since I saw across my screen Brian Robinson Jr. has been traded to the 49ers to take carries away from Christian McCaffrey, who has the softest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
But in terms of run defenses, it doesn't get softer than Saints, Falcons, Panthers.
And you get to face them twice.
Both of them off.
Yeah.
The only thing is, do they arrest Bucky week 18? But if Atlanta's good, and Johnny seems to think Atlanta's going to be good, and I could see them challenging. Like I could see it coming down to week 18, right, with the Falcons and the Bucks again.
Well, we kind of had that last year too, right?
Exactly. Right, so Bucky and Bucky running wild on a Miami defense that quit wouldn't be shock me either.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting
There's a
intel
lot
as to how you're going to draft. I have intel.
Well, but I like Bucky Irving over his rush prop. I think you can get 1,000 on FanDuel, 1,500.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll be betting that. I'll be betting over. I'll probably betting alt overs. I'll be betting over 1,250, 1,500, smaller, obviously, and then I'll play a rushing leader. You could bet offensive player of the year. I'll probably have like a couple bucks on that too, but I like the leading rushing better because, McCaffrey's schedule is really easy. The Jamar Chase his team doesn't have a defense. How many touchdowns is he going to score? You know what I mean? Like, it's tough.
It's a good
in terms
running
schedule. And Rachaad White might get a couple of third downs, right? Rachaad White's going to be a third down. How many times is Rachaad White going to run the ball? Probably not very many. So your run plays are probably going to be Bucky. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see a couple of Rachaad White run, drives here and there. But I mean, Rachaad White's bad. There's nobody behind. Bucky. When they realized, Bucky Irving's better than Rachaad White.
They swapped it, and then they started winning.
He was killing it. So Bucky Irving props preseason. Especially when you get to play the Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons twice. We'll have mediocre to bad run defenses, and more bad than mediocre. I could see them running very, very well. Bucky Irving here in this schedule, and you get like you get the bad teams at the end of the year, like Arizona week 13 when
he starts getting some garbage time. And if they need to win those last two games, he's definitely getting more touches.
Yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah. So that concludes
the South.
The South. Do you have a best bet or any final remarks?
So you convinced me. I'll do one for each. One for AFC, one for NFC. You've convinced me on the Jags. You've convinced me on the Jags. I like what they're building. I like who they have running the team more than anything else. I think it's a very competent group, and I think they're going to pull a lot out of it. And I do think Travis Hunter might be a bit of a difference maker in that division, anyways. So I'm leaning on the over on win totals with the Jags.
Yeah,
I think that hits. In the South, I'm going to
the NFC.
Sorry, the NFC South. I'm not going to touch on the Bucs. Okay, I'm not going to touch on.
Bet the Saints plus 1276 to
win. No. I'm going to bet on the Carolina Panthers to be a bit more of a nuisance.
You like the over wins. Okay.
I think I know it's at 7 now.
You can lay some juice for 6.5.
I think they get 7-8 wins. That schedule, first 7 games against losing records, they could easily go to 4-3 to start the season. And then you just gotta kind of find another way to get 3-4 wins. Very doable. Very, very doable. I mean, I look at the end. Maybe not against Tampa Bay, but you got the New Orleans twice still in the later half. You have Atlanta off a Berlin game.
Seattle at home.
Yeah, Seattle at home. So it's like there's wins that they can just eke out there. Maybe they get that revenge game against Green Bay instead of what's his name?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Who knows?
Yeah, runs the football pretty well, and the Panthers have a pretty bad run defense.
But I think overall, they it's going to be the first season where they don't have question marks on who's QBing their ball. So now they can focus on other things. They're like, we know who's going to QB, we know who's going to be catching, we know who's going to be running. We just got to focus on the things that we haven't been great at, which is just touching up on the defense. They have the continuity with the O-line, so I think you got guys who just know what they're doing. The offense is like on autopilot, and it's the defense you can take an extra effort with, get the extra reps in, get the extra, let's play this one a bit different or play this one a bit harder here or there. So I think they get to 7. I think 7, 8. I would take this. I would lay the juice on the 6-5 because I just think 7.
I agree. I mean, I know it's a season-long bet. You don't want to lay too much juice.
Yeah.
I feel like 7 is doable, but I'm not as high as the market is on that team. I'll give 2 as well. Then why not? For the South, I'm gonna go the other way. I think I'm gonna bet the Colts under 7.5. as my best bet for this. I think this team is just a disaster. And I'm gonna bet alts, but I'll for the best bet we'll do under 7.5. And if you want to get spicy with it, go ahead. I will. And then I will for the NFC South. Bucky Irving over 1,000 half rushing yards is probably the best bet. I was going to bet Tampa to win the division, but Johnny's being on the Falcons and looking at their schedule, it's going to be tough. I think the Falcons are going to be tough. Yeah. I'm still betting the Bucs. Oh, Barney likes the dog. He thinks he's on the Falcons.
He's on the Falcons. No.
Oh,
hey, no wings for you, man. No wings for you.
Maybe likes Carolina. But yeah, Bucky Irving over 1,000 half rushing yards. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Jason, for coming on.
Thank you
for an hour and a half. It was fun. I enjoyed the show. Next week, Cowboy Keith and the Johnny the Prop Man will make his 2025 debut. We will be going over the AFC and NFC Norths, probably the most fun divisions in football. And we will get Johnny's season-long prop report next Friday.
I can't wait.
Tune in. I think we might have a 6 o'clock. And we might go 2 hours. Who knows? Well, we might go quick. Probably doesn't say much. So, but tune in, prop report, and probably the most fun divisions of football. So join us next week. Thanks, Jason. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Peace.